Wrong chair. Only joking.
Okay, let's do this.
Leeds College of Building is unique, and it's a word that gets overused, but we are the only college in the country that just teaches construction and the built environment courses, and we focus purely on that. And so that includes a range of study programs, apprenticeships and adult programs. It's everything from what people typically think of as construction, bricklaying, joinery, plastering, through to transport planning, civil engineering and a wide range of degree apprenticeship programs.
Perfect. You've answered that one before.
I've done that one before, yeah.
The only way for people to get into the industry is through an apprenticeship. So we're really proud that we offer apprenticeships to over 2,500 students. We've got university centre status, and as such we have opportunities to grow our degree level apprenticeships and higher level apprenticeship provision.
So many people now are shifting gears. They're not necessarily wanting to go down the university route. People just don't see the value in it anymore. Whereas when you go down a degree apprenticeship route, you've got so much more experience than a university leaver that you're ahead of the game. Got the qualification and you've got the experience. Who's going to get the promotions?
We keep hearing this noise about a massive skills gap within the construction industry. That's absolute, that is a fact, and it's not going away. So what that means at the moment is there are lots of opportunities out there within construction for young people and people who are switching careers as well.
Well, I think they're coming in at a good time. The building industry worldwide, it's like the backbone, isn't it? If the building industry is doing well, Britain's doing all right. Bottom line.
A career in construction, it will take you anywhere. The skills that are learned are transferable across industry, across country.
Skills shortage is international, it's not just in the UK. So if you wanted to go travel, you've got a golden ticket.
You know, if someone said to me, you can go be a bricklayer in Australia if you wanted, or you could go be a quantity surveyor in Dubai or the States or wherever. Sounds good to me, yeah, let's go.
The opportunities for people to create their own destiny in terms of earning potential as well is unparalleled.
The fact that you can go from an entry-level position to within 3 to 5 years earning probably more than their teachers is really exciting to a student. You know, that interests them. Construction's just not very good about telling people that.
If you were to walk into an average 14-year-old and say, do you know what a building services engineer is? I think the answer would be no. Most adults don't know what a building service engineer does.
If there's a future student who has a family member who works in construction, they understand how much of a great career path it is. If you take people who've never had that touch point, they've never experienced it, there is quite an old school perception around construction.
What people see, because they see it as they walk around the cities, as they go home, they see the impact of construction. What they don't see are the people who are behind the scenes that are doing all of the design work, all of the development, the engineering, and all of those different aspects. They kind of just see the end product.
The problem that we have at careers fairs with getting people to even approach the bench is that people think if I don't want to do a trade or have a hands-on role, there's no point in me approaching that bench. People just don't know. Unless they have it in their mind that they want to be a bricklayer, a joiner, a plasterer, a plumber, they walk straight past. They come and get the free stuff and then they walk straight past.
I think if people actually knew the choice of careers and the pathways they can go after Leeds College of Building, I think it'd change a lot of people's perception massively.
We have an instance of a student that came to us. They were due to get all 9s at their GCSE and they found the role of a quantity surveyor, really wanted to pursue that area, took that to their careers advisor at school and they actively tried to persuade them against that route. The quote was, "You're too good to get into construction."
We're still up against challenges in terms of having to break down boundaries.
Certainly in my early days, there was still the idea, the opinion that if a student wasn't very academic, they should go to Leeds College of Building and become a construction worker.
I see it as a bit of a stereotype, frankly.
This particular student did come to us and they're absolutely flying. And they've gone in at a great salary for an apprenticeship anyway, with benefits like company cars and great holiday allowance. But the potential they've got once they finish that apprenticeship is phenomenal.
I think we've been working very hard to change the perception of construction. You know, as a college for a long time, it's changing, but it's never changing fast enough for me. One of the massive problems in construction at the minute is the skills gap. The only way that's ever going to be achieved or even got near is if we diversify what we're doing.
Yeah, diversity is one of those areas that's really frustrating. There are improvements. There are more women working in construction, for example. There are still, less than 2% working in trades, and that needs to change. Women should have the access to those roles as much as anyone else.
The construction industry has always struggled in that area. It's predominantly a white male industry.
We want the sector to be a really healthy sector, so it's how we can support and challenge and perhaps say things that other colleges can't say because of the scale of what we do.
It's such an opportunity because we're working with the builders or the employees of tomorrow. So if we can sort of inform, create awareness around things like inclusion and women in construction particularly, then hopefully they carry that through their lives.
I think we've got a responsibility to kind of lead the way a little bit on that. We need to have the voice for the entire construction industry, and we need to change that opinion early on so that more people are coming into the roles and we can help with that skill shortage. And that's kind of where the rebrand really took shape.
So when I think about a brand, for me, it's about how it makes you feel, that emotional connection to an organisation, a place.
It's the hook. It's the thing that's going to get you looking twice.
It's the shop window, isn't it? It's the dressing up of the shop window. Turn the head, I want to go in there.
I think there's a real misconception when it comes to brand. People think the brand is a logo. The brand is the colours, the brand is even the font maybe. They won't understand that the brand is really your reputation.
Leeds College of Building has been going since the 1960s, so it's got a long-standing traditional reputation. I think we're absolutely at that point where we understand that we need to move with the times a little bit.
If I think of Leeds College of Building as a brand, I think it keeps us there, it keeps us in that kind of environment when the view was white British male, boots on, trowel in hand, hard hat on, and we're nothing like that. Construction is nothing like that.
As part of some of the changes that have actually led up to this is we have brought in new people into the college. We've got that external voice coming in because the college is a great place to work. Some people have been here a very, very long time, and that's something that we're really proud of. But equally, you still need those fresh ideas coming in. And I think some of the new managers that we've brought into the team have asked the right questions and said, why are we doing it that way? What is our potential? And what is our ambition? And that's what moves your organisation on.
We realise that if we want to grow and get to where we strategically want to get to, there's a massive shift we have to do there with the reputation. I'm from marketing, I live and breathe marketing, that's my background. I understand the consumer behaviour and why we need to change to improve our reputation. But pitching that to our SLT, who marketing's not their background, branding's not their background, and them to be fully on board with it and take that risk, I think that shows how much it was needed.
Because we are the only construction college in the country, that means something. We should be the best at what we do. When we started the process in terms of changing the brand, it was really, really important that we found somebody that shared our passion, that found somebody that understood the brief and where we were going and was equally excited. And with Born, the first time they pitched, instantly I thought, they get it, that's who we need to work with.
They came in and they were bluntly honest with us, and they sat down and they basically said, your brand's not working for you.
I think as a branding agency, it was very obvious and apparent to us that actually there was no coherent direction. There wasn't a brand. It was just something that had been added to over the years by different people who have come into the roles, whether it be designers, art workers, video people, marketing, communications personnel. They've all added their bit at that particular time, but it's just turned into a bit of a mess.
I think my first impression was there's just so much untapped potential here. They're the only place doing what they do, and it just feels quite understated. They've got something really special, and I don't think their brand was really showcasing that or shouting about that enough.
Ultimately, the level of excitement that we had for this brief was that we would be able to come in, streamline the hell out of it. We'd give them the platform to be able to communicate their message correctly.
Very early on in the process, it became obvious to us that there was a real appetite for change. And from our perspective, that's great. That's what we want to hear from a client. It means they're potentially going to be more open-minded, to thinking outside the box a bit more and really trying to challenge perceptions and do something different.
It was really quite exciting to be in a room full of SLT that were all very aware of the need for change. I think there's sometimes there is a desire to hold on a bit too firmly with what's been there for such a long time, and it's important for the community, it's important for the heritage, the history, it's important for all the people that have passed through those doors before, but actually the challenge now is about the next generation of people that are going to pass through the doors, who are going to go on to have a significant impact on the construction industry. So we very quickly established internally at the agency that we can take this opportunity and maybe do something a bit more powerful, a bit more impactful with it.
The way we approach any job, especially a branding project like this, we would never walk in and just claim to have all the answers from the off.
We have a way of working, a structure, a process that means we can go into any industry and create a platform for us as outsiders to learn about their business goals, their pain points, their challenges, how they communicate with their audiences, and then ultimately how we can impact that positively.
So the first thing we do is we undergo a discovery process. We want to talk to as many people as we can, so staff, stakeholders, in this case students. It's really important to us to understand the reality that our clients are facing, and we really try and get an understanding from all of those different perspectives. The reason these interviews are so important to our process is they mean that everything that comes after it in terms of developing a brand is built on a foundation.
One of the key things that came out of some of our initial conversations that we need to be bold and actually challenge the industry entirely, not just at college level.
Even the brief amount of time we've spent looking at the construction industry, I feel like the perception is so far removed from the reality. It's not a fair reflection of the potential that is available to students or anyone working in this industry.
We really broke this down into what are the impactful moments, what are the impactful visuals, what can we do tonally and from a language perspective to really translate the offering, and was going to speak to a new audience, excite a new audience, and actually let them see that this potentially is a viable option for them, or at least to explore it and understand what the college offers.
We can speak to the next generation of construction workers and get in early doors and change how they perceive this entire industry and remove some of that stigma, remove some of those stereotypes and make them think, no, this is actually something I can be proud to be involved in.
So it's quite scary and exciting at the same time, waiting to find out what the brand is actually going to look like. What's the logo? What's the imagery? What does it sound like? What's the tone of voice? Is it going to be red? Is it going to be yellow? Is it going to be orange? Is it going to be blue?
It's blue.
Ashamed, think something new under the sun. You can't take back them things you already done. No. You blame things that you do on somebody else. No. But they all see is you need help. Oh, but still you try so hard to cover up your games. You try so hard, hoping that one day something gon' change.
When I first saw the brand, it was, yeah, it feels really good, feels right. And I think that's probably quite unique because it is such a change. It was such a big decision for the organisation to do this.
How it makes me feel is actually really excited. It's almost like relief because it's actually moving us in the right direction.
I'm really excited about the imagery. I think it's very powerful. It is very much showcasing what construction is now in an empowering way.
It's a lot more positive, it's more confident, it's in your face.
When a lot of students are coming to us, the messages that they've been hearing for the last few years are very much, you're not academic, you're not good enough to stay here, you're not good enough to go on to do that career path. And it's so damaging to that young person. And what you actually find is a lot of times they're just not suitable for classroom learning. Everybody learns differently. Whereas when they come here, a lot of our trade courses, it is very hands-on and they absolutely thrive. A lot of what our curriculum is shaped to do is to rebuild that confidence The brand itself has an element of that, like you can do this.
I notice this a lot in the workshop. Once I get going and taking photos of their work and like filming their work, I'll ask them questions about it. And once they start explaining what they're actually doing, you can see them light up a bit more and they're really proud of what they've done. And I think that is what the concept of the new branding is, to be proud.
We know who we are. And it's very, very clear with the brand. The tone of voice has that empowerment edge to it. If you look at all your sports brands, that's exactly what they do. This young generation want to feel that confidence, they want to feel that empowerment.
I think previously, the relationships that potential students or potential partner organisations have had with LCB have come through just that, relationships, knowing someone that's been in that position. Whereas now we actually have something where even if you have no previous relationship or even knowledge of LCB and what they do, they are now geared up to communicate with those audiences in their language and get them to effectively feel authentically like they can connect to it, they can relate to it, it excites them, it inspires them, and ultimately this might be a career path for them.
It's something that I think students will engage with, will respond to, and have a much deeper connection to. They'll see themselves. And that leads into some of the areas of things like diversity.
So we wanted to make sure that it spoke to everyone, it gave everyone a voice, whether that's females, minorities, if it's people in Leeds, people out of Leeds. We wanted to make sure that they all understood that actually this is a viable option for them, it's a home for them, it's potentially a very prosperous career for them.
I think it also communicates that respect of the heritage. This wasn't about letting go of everything we had, but it was about bringing what we had into the modern day, seeing something fresh, but also knowing that that existing quality is still there. I think that's going to be a really positive thing for the city.
I'd like to think that Leeds as a city appreciate that what we do in terms of bringing in national students, block release students from all over, increasing our brand, potentially increasing our business, is a really good position for the city itself as well.
I think Leeds I'll think the rebrand is fantastic, I really do. And certainly the partners we work with very locally are going to be massively interested and certainly on board with what we're doing.
I think they'll be surprised. You know, Leeds is in a unique position. We only have two further education colleges that deliver vocational training. That collaboration between the two of us works really, really well. But we are the smaller college. But actually we're about to launch something that perhaps will shout loudest.
It's like a breath of fresh air for the students and also for the industry and the communities that we serve.
So a particularly important part of this job was developing a brand architecture. And that's something that comes into play for Leeds College of Building because they have so many different levels of offering.
One of the biggest challenges that we had from a marketing perspective is we are trying to sell both further education and higher education all under a college umbrella. If you are generally looking for a university course, it's very rare that someone looks for a college. Perception is, I want to do a degree, I don't want to go to college, I'm past college, I've done college.
I think that ties into what we were saying about the sense of pride. They might not be shouting about the fact that they're studying at Leeds College of Building. When you factor in that level of complexity in terms of what the college is actually offering, we actually felt quite strongly that a name change was needed.
Leeds College of Building obviously throws up a lot of complications. It's not just a college, it's not just building.
We realised that that's a lot to ask of a client, to change one of the most fundamental parts of your organisation. And to their credit, they definitely thought about it. I think it just felt like a bridge too far. There's so much love and affinity and recognition in the industry for Leeds College of Building. They would be losing too much of the history by changing the name at this point. So the challenge we then faced was how do we reframe the college in a different way?
How do we communicate the university centre, the university aspect, under a college umbrella? And that's when we eventually landed on LCBU. Primarily, we are going to lead with the acronyms. Just like other establishments are known, like UCLA, NYU, CLA, that's how they're known, that's how it's communicated.
So if we're going to university-focused events, we're not going as a college anymore, which is a big change for us, but it's one that was much needed.
It will put us in conversations and in rooms that we may not have been in before. So I'm really excited to explore those new opportunities, those avenues of growth for the college that maybe we've not even thought about yet.
I'm most excited about actually where we might be in 2 or 3 years' time. Between now and then it's going to be hard work, but that's almost what we're asking for. We want to grow, we want to develop, and we want to challenge.
The existing brand was a limiting factor in terms of our growth potential. We can use this brand as a springboard, and I think that's our challenge now moving forward.
I think there's a certain amount of pressure. I think there's always been a certain amount of pressure. I'm the first female that's held this position. And now we're making one of the most significant changes in recent times. And there's always that fear of failure. You have to do what you think is right for the organisation. And through all of the work that's been done, all of the research, all of the talking to partners and stakeholders, we know it's the right thing.
When you're faced with such a challenge of what the industry is, you feel a responsibility to try to do everything you can to create more opportunities for people. We know that a student can leave us and in some cases instantly take their family out of deprivation. And I think it will create so many opportunities for the communities that we serve and the employers that we can work with, both regionally and nationally.
Changing the brand is the first step. I think it's what helps us get there.
We've grown exponentially over the last however many years and done that without really having a brand or a marketing strategy or a communication strategy. It's just by word of mouth and delivering really high quality teaching and learning. So actually, when you start to scratch the surface, the future of the college is limitless.
It sounds corny, but that's like a new horizon, isn't it? You know, it does actually sound really, really good. And it's an exciting time to be part of it.
Seeing students come into this college and really achieve, you know, what they came here to do, or even more actually in a lot of cases, that's why we're pushing as hard as we do.
We're custodians of Leeds College of Building. The new brand just feels like it's going to take us forward for that next 60 years, that next part of Leeds College of Building's journey.